Welcome to Rock Shovels and Manuscripts. I'm Rick, and this is Steve. And Steve, what is this brand new show all about?
Oh man, I'm so excited. We're like launching a whole new season.
We are.
And what we're going to do over the next several weeks is we're going to hit various topics that wrap around archaeology in the Bible.
Okay.
For example, today we're going to talk about tombs.
Okay.
And we're going to introduce people to some of the major finds for archaeological tombs in Israel, how tombs were laid out, and what finding these tombs has meant and means to us.
How do you think the viewer is going to benefit from watching this season?
That's a great question. That remains to be seen. Here's what I think. For the believer, for the person who already believes the Bible, they're going to understand its content a lot better because they're going to see the historical and cultural setting that some of the biblical events have taken place in. Okay. They're also going to be strengthened in their faith to see that the things the Bible mentions that people have challenged are being substantiated through the archaeological record.
Great. And I also like the way you've laid this out, that we're dealing with this thematically. You know, like for the first episode, we're dealing with
tombs.
Tombs.
Yep.
Okay, let's get started.
What a topic to start with, right? Tombs, really? Well, before I go into the tombs, I just wanted to bring a special treat. Has nothing to do with tombs, but it was so cool when I stumbled upon it, I just wanted to share it with the audience. So I've got a picture of something, and it's up on the screen now, and it looks like a little hand shovel.
Yes, it does.
But there's some significance to this little hand shovel. Let me read to you from Luke. Luke chapter 1. Many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have just been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who from the first were eyewitnesses and servants of the word. Therefore, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, it seemed good also to me to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you might know for certainty of the things that have been taught. Okay, so this is the beginning of the book called Luke. Luke wrote 2 books, Luke and Acts, and both of them are addressed to a guy named Theophilus. And that in and of itself confuses a lot of people. I mean, the name means God lover, Theophilus. But nowhere else in the Bible is he mentioned. And it was said for years that nobody knew who he was because there was no record of a Theophilus. But that isn't really true.
Great. I want to hear this.
Well, first of all, there was some speculation. He's called most excellent or noble Theophilus. So you know, whoever this person is, he has high rank, high standing. He's a noble of some sort. But there is no Theophilus in the Roman record. In secular history, there is a Theophilus. There's a first-century priest in Israel, high priest, known as Theophilus.
Really?
And not only do I think this makes sense because we've got a name that we can tie this to and a significant person, but the very next verse starts talking about the descendants of Aaron, a priest in Israel during the first century, and starts talking about priestly things. So here we have Luke, who's playing the historian, trying to introduce the story of Jesus to a priest. And so what's he start talking about? He doesn't start talking about Yeshua. He starts talking about a priest.
That makes total sense.
It makes total sense. So let me get into the story, and you'll see where that little shovel comes in.
Okay.
Verse 5. In the time of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division, priestly division of Abiah, and his wife Elizabeth also was a descendant of Aaron.
Okay, let me start off by saying this changes the whole reason that the story is laid out this way.
Absolutely.
By understanding that it's written to somebody who's potentially a high priest.
Yep.
Completely
we talk
changes.
about Elizabeth. We talk about the descendant of Aaron. We talk about soon John the Baptist is coming into the picture, who's a descendant of a priest. Later we talk about Jesus, but he's not a descendant of a priest. So it seems to me that if you want to get a priest's attention, not only do you start talking about priests, but he might have known this priest. This might actually be a personal, well, maybe I didn't know him, but I knew his cousin. I know his uncle. You know, very close. Right. And then when he starts talking about what priests do, he's going to think, oh, Luke knows what he's talking about because he's telling me about the job I had. And look, he's got it right.
And obviously he's writing, as you mentioned, that this is most excellent. So this is somebody in a high-ranking position. And it's somebody who has great influence.
Yep, and if it's the Theophilus, I think it is, it's the high priest, or was a high priest, a former high priest. So here's what it says about Zechariah and his wife Elizabeth. Both of them were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. But they had no children, because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well along in years. Just a little side note, it was a shame, and it felt like a curse from God to be barren. The main thing that somebody wanted in these days was a descendant, a child. And to be a high priest and to not have a child, or a priest, pardon me, part of you is thinking, hey, I'm a priest, I'm right with God, I'm living a good life. Then why is he cursing me like this? What have I done wrong?
That's very practical for every believer today, to recognize that when things that appear to be bad in your life does not mean that you're being cursed by God.
Not at all, because her womb is being preserved for one of the greatest men who's ever lived. The first birth is going to be a holy birth. It says he is filled with the Holy Spirit from his mother's womb. So it's not like she's being cursed. She's in the wings, getting ready to come out on stage for the leading role.
Like so many things in life, it's a timing issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this clip, please feel free to check out the full version in the link located in the description panel below. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. As always, help yourself to the diverse array of teachings located on this YouTube channel or on our website at glc.us.com.